It's mad nanny, so you gotta put up under that.
Oh, this nice fluffy blanket. Oh, you want to tell us why? Let's talk about it.
What's up, everybody? This is your boy Corey again with another Real Talk Conversations on the Couch. I have another guest on my channel. Y'all seen her several times. So I said, let me bring her back because there's a lot of updates, you know what I'm saying? And all of us leveling up in life. So it's good to have those conversations, see how far we've came, where we at, where we been, what we doing, how we doing, and where we gonna go.
Here.
So with that being said, this is Leslie Latrice, you know what I'm saying? World-renowned content creator. You know what I'm saying? Was a captain in the military. I don't know. Actually, only captain I ever know. So, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy the amount of success you've had, content creation, army life. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. But before we get into all that, I'm going to allow her to introduce herself. Yay. And we're going to get into it.
Hey, everybody. I'm your girl, Leslie Latrice, a.k.a. Captain Hall. But also, I can be your favorite veteran turned entrepreneur and content creator. I just recently did a rebrand. So a lot of my content is really centered around life's best experiences, especially after transitioning from the military. So all of the things, living an easy life, honey, you know, prioritizing excellence and celebrating all wins. So that's a little bit about what I do, my little bit of content stuff, a little bit about me. I'm very cool, you know what I mean?
Big content, ain't no little bit. Big
content. I'm a cool girl, you know, very outgoing. I'm from Merck City.
Yes.
Sumter, stand up, period. So yeah. That's about me. I'm excited. I'm ready to get into it, get to know y'all so y'all get to know me.
We're going to talk a little bit about that Merc City, too. We're going to talk a little bit about that Merc City.
Can't leave them out.
Y'all see, she real comfortable. She got the blanket out, you know what I'm saying? So
I like to be cozy.
When people cozy and comfortable, they start to talk. So, you know.
Yeah. Put it all out there.
Yeah, you know, put it all out there. But yeah, so to get into the conversation, you know what I'm saying? You talked briefly just now about content creation, Army life. And we're going to talk a little bit more about your transition because I know that's a period of time where it takes a little bit of adjustment. You did mention Sumter, South Carolina, which I was born and raised there myself. She went to Crestwood, I went to Lakewood, you know, Big L, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say which school better, but
we were rivals.
Yeah, we was rivals.
I think we are rivals. Still rivals. Yeah, but like
they on the other side of the city, we on the other side.
They in the swamp.
Our school is actually the same exact layout, just different colors. So
that's crazy though when you think about that.
Yeah. If I go in Crestwood, I know where to go.
Exactly where to go.
Exactly. It's the same exact, nothing different.
6 hallways, a cafeteria, and a courtyard.
Exactly. Right there in the middle. Walk me through like your life in Sumter. Cause you know, I had mine, you know what I'm saying? Being from Sumter, you know, from the hood, you know what I'm saying? We out in the streets playing basketball and stuff like that. But coming from like a woman that kind of grew up in the Sumter era, how was that for you? Like, what was it like for you in Sumter?
I would say that it was an adjustment for me because Sumter was the first city that I was able to stay in for first city where I was able to attend a school and stay there for the whole time I was supposed to be there. So like, for example, when you go to one elementary school, right, you stay from kindergarten to 5th grade or whatever grade is in the school if you still live there. Right. But being in the military, my mom being in the military, I've been to over 14 different schools up until high school. So
high school was your first like extended period of consistency at a school.
Yeah. So Sumter played, I really do think being in Sumter played a big role also in just like my growth and like being able to just be still. Because just be still and like live for now, not have to worry about picking up and packing up to leave and go to the next place. I knew once we got there, this was going to be it. So I can lock in with people, you know, friends, family, all that. So I think for me, it became home more than it was before because we always came back to Sumter. Like whenever my mom would go from a different duty station to get stationed somewhere else. We always would come back to Sumter. So my grandparents lived there and stuff. So I always knew Sumter was home. But living there and going to school there, going to work at McDonald's, going to Walmart as the place to hang out. Yeah, I worked on Broad Street.
What?
Yeah, I
That's
worked at
crazy.
McDonald's on Broad Street. Yes.
Across from the mall?
I sure did.
Well, we used to be in and out of Sonic, so I probably didn't.
I like Sonic too, but I wanted to work at Sonic. I was afraid I was gonna bust my tail in the skates, so I was like, I don't know about that.
We used to be in and out of Sonic like crazy.
Yeah. So that was a place where I was really able to like just, like I said, grow into myself as an adult for an extended period of time and still have the same friends and, just a consistent sort of routine. Living, like staying there was not an option.
That's how I felt.
Yeah.
Being born and raised from there, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I feel like Sumter, would you consider Sumter like a military town since the Air Force base is there?
That's so interesting.
Like coming from someone that was in the military?
I don't think so. I mean,
like what would make a military town without just having a base there?
That's a good question.
More amenities, more stuff to do, like what
I think it's like, it's a military town because they're doing stuff in the community that is for like military kids. I remember being places where we would go places that honored, service members and their kids and all the stuff.
Gotcha.
I don't know if I felt that so much from Sumter. Yeah, because Shaw is like really in Dalzell, so it's like not really in the like Sumter city of Sumter, right? Yeah. So my grandparents live near Shaw, so I frequently went by, but like my mom was Army, so she never was on there,
Gotcha.
But okay. I don't know if it is a. I don't think it's a. I don't think it's a military city per se.
So, my mom was in the military too. She was in the Marines.
Okay.
So
they can stand with us a little bit.
She was in the Marines, but actually my whole family, my uncles and my mom was in the military, and my grandfather was in the Air Force. Everybody else was in the Army, and my mom was a Marine. So I thought about going in the military myself. I was in ROTC in high school.
High school, yeah.
So I did that, and then when I got to college, I was thinking about doing it, and then something was like, something. I don't know if that's life for me, But now I feel like I wish I would have got the experience. Yeah. My mom,
you did
big Marine.
ROTC.
Yeah, big Marine. She went to Okinawa. She done been to.
Wow.
What other bases she done been to? She always.
You were with her?
No.
Okay.
Nah. By the time she had me, she was out the military.
Okay.
Yeah. By the time she had me, I ain't knew nothing about that military life.
Wow.
Other than like what it kind of instilled in her.
Yeah.
So that's why like I'm very, when it comes to cleanliness, making up beds and stuff like that, like she always instilled that in me. Don't go nowhere without making your bed. Don't do, like she always.
And giving people the greeting of the day, honey.
Yeah.
My mama did not play that. She was like, if you walk into a room, you need to be speaking to the people in the room.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't just walk in there and sit your butt on the couch.
Exactly.
So that's why I be looking at people. When people text me and y'all just text me out the blue trying to start a conversation with me, reverse. Hello, how are you doing?
Reverse.
How you doing? Good morning.
Good morning. Let's greet first.
Yes. I don't play that.
Hey, big captain. She don't play that.
Yeah, that's okay.
But I do want to talk a little bit more about like, from your perspective, being in the Army, and I'm sure you've encountered people from Air Force, Navy, and all that. Yeah. Like, what are the stereotypes?
Okay.
Because we always hear Marines is like tough. We hear the Air Force is they be sleeping and vacation. Yeah. Like, so what are the stereotypes?
No, I think y'all hear the same thing. Yeah. No. So I feel like they used to say, so I didn't really originally want to go. I wanted to join the Air Force. So I did Air Force Day ROTC.
Okay.
When I was in high school. But one reason was because a lot of people I talked to stereotype was that the Army don't take care of you. Like they didn't, but they were, they was rough and tough. But when I think what they were trying to say is like the Army care about the Army and the mission and like less about your personal and all the other things.
Gotcha.
And like if something happened to you, then, they wouldn't necessarily do all they got to do. They might find the next person to just fill your spot,
like
you know.
next man up.
Yeah, you know. So that was I wouldn't even say that's untrue, but that was what I heard. So I was like, I want to go in the Air Force because I had already experienced it in JROTC, and I felt like it was going to be a better avenue for me. But I didn't do everything that I needed to do to get my scholarship with the Air Force.
Okay.
So then I had to compete for scholarship in college, and the Army I was more competitive going in the Army to get the jobs that I wanted. So that is why I actually ended up going into the Army. But my mom, she was in the Army. My granddad was in the Army. My fathers were in the Army. So a lot of Army history. And I think my uncle was the only person that went into the Navy.
He was destined to be there anyway.
You know, but the gag is I didn't want to go in there. That's the real gag. It's like moving all the time. I literally had told myself at first, I was like, I'm not moving. I'm not, I said, I'm not going in because I don't want to have to do this,
So do you feel like other branches don't have to move as much?
Oh no, I think everybody gotta go.
Oh,
like everybody gonna do the station. But I guess what I'm saying is because my mom was in the military, we were always moving. So I was like, as a kid, I was like, I don't want to.
Yeah, you don't want to have to bounce.
Gotcha. But then my mom made it a requirement for all of her kids to go into at least one semester of JROTC. And after I did it, I kept doing it. And so from there, I started to like the actual structure and all those things and the support, the family environment. Okay. So that's what ended up making me join. But I do think a lot of the stereotypes are in their own right, very accurate.
Okay. I just want to know.
In their own right.
You know, as a civilian, we just hear things. I'm just trying to figure out if y'all hear the same things we hear. It's just like the opposite by the time it get to us.
Yeah, we heard Air Force, Chair Force. I think Air Force is probably like the best one to go into. Like they from what I hear, they take care of they service members.
That's what I heard too.
Yeah,
you know.
So
hey, it ain't too late. I might, you know what I mean? Might be big captain too.
You never know.
But I feel like you've had a long stint of military history in life, and then you decide to make the switch into going into civilian life. So I know that was a transition because I know, being ingrained in that environment is a little bit different. So walk me through when you first decided to something, I'm taking off the hat.
Oh man.
What made you decide to take off the hat in the first place?
So first, it wasn't necessary. I'd always been very what's the word I'm looking for? I'd always had it to where I was not sold on doing 20 years, nor was I sold on getting out after my obligation was up.
Got you.
Right.
Okay.
So I was like, my whole thing was like, if the Army starts to limit me or restrict me from doing what I want to do, which at the time too, when I joined the Army or went active duty in 2015, a year later, I started doing content. So I was doing both. Right. So that was when I was like, okay, if the Army, as long as this thing is still good for me, I'm gonna keep going until I keep going. But when it start getting in the way, then we're going to have to figure out some things. Decisions. So back in 2021, I believe, I was contacted by Big Brother. You know Big Brother?
Big Brother
on CBS.
Yeah. Yeah. I always wanted to be on Big Brother, actually.
Well, they was trying to cast me.
For real? Big Brother.
They was trying to cast me. And I went to my leadership and I asked them, is it possible for me to go on this show? Especially because it was, we hadn't really gotten to the vaccines, or we were just getting into the COVID vaccines and stuff. And I was also in command, which was a really key leadership position for me to be in. And for me to be absent was going to be kind of something to work through. Yeah. So, denied. The leadership denied it, right? Mind you, I didn't make it all the way through. I didn't make it through all the casting.
But if you did.
But if I did, I wouldn't have been able to go. So that's when I was like, dang. Yeah, I was like, yeah. So, and then I had been contacted too, even interviewed for The Circle when they were going on season 2. And was in contact with that.
Been good on the circle.
You know,
I can see you
and
on the circle.
I really want to be on that show.
Let's contact the circle and both of us.
Yes, we need to go on there together.
Both of us, boy, woman, whatever you want to be. And we be on the back.
Yo, no, we gotta really do it because like I feel like going by myself is not fun anymore. Like, because everybody doing what I'm doing, so it's not even. I'm not an anomaly anymore or a commodity anymore. But yeah, so those casting agents, we're trying to get me to go on these different interviews to try to go on different shows. Yeah. And now I'm like, dang, I can't do any of this stuff because I know I'm not going to be able to go.
Because you also have to get approval for somebody
else.
Else.
Yeah. And that's the sucky thing about being in the Army is like, they own your time. They own what you do. They own all the things. Like I can't even go on leave without getting permission to go. So it's just like, that's when it started to limit. So I started to like rethink. I was like weighing out all my options. Cause one thing, if nobody know nothing about me, is that I'm gonna weigh the options. Y'all gonna have to tell me about every single thing before I make a choice.
There you go.
So I looked at just getting out regularly. Mm-hmm. I also had, medical issues and stuff too. Mm-hmm. So I went through the options of like, what if I medically retired out? Like what would happen then? And so when I went through all those options, I ended up not necessarily deciding, but I was a candidate to medically retire.
Gotcha.
So it was almost forced upon me then, but I was already kind of going down that route anyway. So this way I maximized my benefits before I took the exit versus just getting out outright and then having to figure things out on the back end. Yeah.
Right. So with that being said, take a sip real quick. So now that you are out of the military, do you feel like, is there any regret? Like I should have stayed in longer, or it's like, I'm glad I left. Is it like, I'm happy where I'm at? Like what are those feelings right now for you?
No, I'm a huge believer in divine timing and things are going to happen exactly how they need to happen for a reason. So the 9-year mark, for me, I felt like was great because most of the time when you're in the military, a lot of people will be like, once you get to 10, they're like, oh, you're at 10, you can go the extra 10. I'm like, y'all really?
You at 10 and you can go another 10?
For
20? For 20?
Mind you, if you retire,
hold on, I'm just trying to process that. You get to 10 and somebody say you can go for another 10? You can go 10?
Another 10 to retire.
For a full 20? I can see like 5. You can go for another 5. But 10 to 10? That's a lot.
And they think that's motivating. That's the gag. It's like they think that's motivating. But yes. Dang. So most of the time when you get there, that's what the leadership is telling you. It's like you can push through and get to retirement. So I do think that the 9 was like it was decent. But I did 7.5 active. So it wasn't that bad. But I think that the transition for me was I don't miss the military. Okay. I don't miss that. I just miss the people. I miss the community.
Camaraderie.
I miss the camaraderie.
Right.
I miss us being able to just have conversations about things that we are the only people who know about that particular experience. But I don't need that. I don't need to serve to still have that because I still have those relationships. The people that matter are still in my life. So I wouldn't say that I necessarily have any regrets. And I don't think the timing was off. I think it was right on time, and mainly because if I did not leave, I wouldn't be living my dream right now, which is to be creating full time.
That's true.
That's true. And mind you, I don't think I'm gonna be a creator for the rest of my life, but I think I'd rather create content to get me to where I want to go than to be working for somebody else. Both military, corporate, whatever. I'm able to do it do it on my own, doing things that I love to do, and then make the rest of it happen. You know what I'm saying?
That's facts, though. So, with that being said, I know that when you got out, you took some corporate jobs. How was that? How is it like stepping into that side of the world? You know what I'm saying? Because I work in corporate America now. I've been, I ain't full content creation, so I know the life of the corporate life, working in the office and stuff like that. So walk me through, like, you sat down at that desk for the first day.
Yeah, no, it was a different experience for sure. What was the most different was the promptness. Like, and what I say by that is, like, sometimes the military will have you rushing, or the army, they'll be like, hurry up, and then you gotta wait. That's why they say hurry up and wait. Like that saying hurry up and wait is like, they'll rush you to do something, but when you get there, there is nothing for you to get the job done. Right? Okay. So
by the time you do what you gotta do, it's still a pause.
You still gotta wait for other people to do what they gotta do. Right. So in this case, sitting down at that desk for the first time, my phone was set up, my laptop was set up, I had a mouse, I had my desk, my nameplate was there. I was like, oh, so I'm supposed to be here. Like, it wasn't like I had in process. I mean, I did have to onboard, but like, they expected me.
Every single day.
Every single day. So I was like, okay. Like, I was happy about that. And then it was a pathway to freedom, if that makes sense. Like, no one was necessarily clocking my day to day, or when it was time to leave, it was like the job won't see me till the next day versus like the army where, you still got to be on 24/7. Right. Phone got to be on. You got to answer the call, like, no matter what. So that was a great transition. But there was still that sense of like being cautious of what I communicate online, because I'm still technically an employee of this organization, and in this age of cancel culture, and if you say the wrong thing, then they're gonna contact your job and get you fired and all these things. You out of the So you didn't really have to worry about That's the one thing you really didn't have to worry about military wise, because it took a little longer for those things to happen. But like civilian life, they'll fire you in a heartbeat and call somebody in the next day. So that was stability. It was what?
It's less stability.
Yeah, there is less stability for sure.
Because I feel like with the military, for you to get kicked out,
it takes a lot.
Yeah, it takes a lot.
even like the action may not even be a lot, but the process to get you out is
you might be freaking still there for 6-5.
Yeah, no, so long. It takes a minute for that process to happen. So you still have time to like figure things out.
Civilian life, you gone next day if they want you gone.
If they want you gone, you out of there.
Employment.
Yeah. So that was it was cool though, because I was getting flown out like to go on business trips and stuff, staying in hotels for free. Like, I came down here a lot of times for like work and all the things. So it was a different experience to like be able to use my card, use the company card to
meals,
for meals. Yeah, I was like, well, we get the free meals, and they
say I get 100. I ain't got all full 100. So what y'all want?
Yeah, what y'all want? Yeah, no fact. Like, we can buy drinks on that card. I said, oh, they treating me nice, honey. So yeah, I think it was no regrets with that, with taking that role. I learned a lot in this experience that I can leverage now, because I can say that I've pretty much done it all, right? Like, I guess, military, corporate, entrepreneur.
You've experienced like 3 phases of life that a lot of people aren't able to tap on, at least 2. You know what I'm saying? I could say corporate, entrepreneur, but I can't say military.
Right.
You can say military, corporate, entrepreneur, and you could talk to all 3 in its own way. So I think that's something to kind of highlight at all times too. I also want to talk to you about, since you were a captain and command, you had a sense of power, right? To a certain extent.
Okay.
So how do you feel going into like a civilian job where you feel like you don't have?
I ain't care.
Oh, you ain't care
at all.
You wanted to relinquish it.
Baby, take it. Take it.
Hey, she say, take that. I don't need
Mind
it.
you,
I don't need it.
because look, people, civilian, you work your way up. You
Yeah,
entry
for
level,
sure,
and
for
then
sure.
you work your way up.
For sure.
Military, I started as a leader. Like they started me right off because I came in as an officer.
So
it won't no time to play. It won't no time to. I mean, you had a level of experience. You're not the most experienced officer, but you're gonna lead these. You're gonna tell these people what to do, and these people's lives are in your hand, no matter what.
Exactly.
So in ROTC in college, they teaching you how to be a leader, right? They putting you in positions and scenarios to help you build your leadership skills and capabilities, and then they throw you in the hole whenever they commission you after graduation.
Gotcha.
So I started as a leader, ROTC leading, JROTC leading, 9 years leading.
You like, hey.
Get into corporate America, they said, you're an individual contributor. No, you don't have any freaking, I said, no responsibilities but my own.
That's fine.
Yeah. They try to promote me to a sales management position or something. Mind you, I don't really want to do nothing with sales anyway, so it wasn't a hard pass for me. But I was like, manager right now? Like, I just kind of, I just got here and I just like, I just kind of want to chill for a second. And they seen the case. My supervisor was like, I need somebody who knows how to lead. I don't necessarily need the person who knows the department, the function, of the sales department and stuff. And I was like, well, I don't really like sales. You know, like, I mean, I don't like it
enough to want to
be a manager. Yeah. So I was like, I prayed about that one, prayed about long, hard, and it was a long, hard pass no, you know?
But that's good though, because I feel like sometimes people, it might be a male thing, but once we get to a position where we've had power, it's hard to take a step back and be like, I can't see myself doing less than this.
So let me be clear. I don't think my power was taken. I think I relinquished authority. So I think I still very much had a voice. I wouldn't even say a voice. I still very much had my skills and knew how to communicate in rooms and knew how to present and all those things. But, and obviously, even being an individual contributor, my leadership skills exuded regardless, They still wanted to put me in positions of authority. So I wouldn't say that, but I will say, as far as power goes, what I did struggle with was the fact that it is like in the military, rank equaled authority and also helped you to get into higher levels of power, and so respect. To speak.
And prestige.
Supposed to be respect, which is annoying. Because I find that whole like, you got to respect the rank.
Hold on. Before you do that, because I don't know much about military life from what my mom told me, but she was out of the military. But from like watching movies and things like that, you get a certain rank and people walk past you and gotta salute you. Was that you?
Oh, they had to salute me.
They had to salute you.
And I had to salute anybody who was higher ranking than me.
So,
and then whoever was lower ranking than me has to salute me. Does that make sense?
But when does that happen?
When we're outside. It's when you're outside.
On the base.
Anywhere. If I'm in uniform and you're in uniform.
Dang.
If I got on uniform and my boots and my hat.
So if I'm at the Air Force, not the airport, and I'm like an E3 and I see you, I got to come up to you and say.
You don't got to come up to me. If you pass me. Like if we walk, like you ain't just supposed to run up to me and be like, no.
But if I pass you,
but if we're in the same vicinity or we're passing each other or I pass you or whatever, and you sitting down, you standing up and you rendering the salute.
Dang.
Yeah. That's how that works. Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. Moving past the military, we talked a lot about that so far. Appreciate you for being open about it.
Of course. I need to talk more about it on my channel.
Yeah. But I do know, like, moving into like more so like content creation, I know you built kind of following Giz Army and things like that off of the military as well. How do you feel like that transition with content creation from being like a captain to outside of the military has been for you? Like, how do you feel like, you said you recently had to do a rebrand. Do you feel like that rebrand kind of detached you from that? Or do you feel like the rebrand was trying to launch you into another area?
I think that the rebrand helped me realize that I don't need to completely disassociate myself from my service.
Right, right.
I thought when I got out that was no longer my angle because I'm no longer active duty.
Gotcha.
But I recognize that there is a direction and an untapped space for transitioning service members because we're always transitioning no matter what. Because we're going to go through life and realize, oh yeah, if I was in the Army, these things wouldn't be happening.
Right.
Or if I hadn't left the Army, then these things wouldn't be happening.
Right.
And so navigating those spaces and having someone communicate and talk about their life and how that's going and what they're doing to make it through and progress and succeed and fail sometimes. Like we ain't, everything ain't always gonna go the way we want it to go. But that's helped me to realize that that's a conversation and there is a space for that, but also that I can communicate that there is success and life after the military, because the military would definitely have you feeling like there's nothing else. That's all it is.
Right.
You won't make the same amount of money. You won't be doing the same things. You won't have this. You won't have that. Yeah, all the things they'll tell you that you won't have after you leave the service, and you don't really hear a lot about military service members' success stories, like large success stories, and like, oh, you got out and not retired out, but like got out, didn't get any, retirement money, You did something like me and got out once your obligation was done. Now what?
Right.
So that's where my brand comes in. It's like, oh, left the Army, left corporate. Now what? Life's best, because don't feel like you gotta go, do less than what you were doing. You can always level up. You can always travel. You can always, life is limitless, period, when you get out. So yeah, no, I think the rebrand definitely helped me to see that, and that was where my focus was going. But also helped me hone in on the things that I always cared about, which was an easy life. Not easy. I don't like to say easy so much, but more like convenient. Why make things hard? Like, why make things hard when you can work on efficiency and you can work on finding convenience? So that's why, people be like, oh, my saying is convenience for my coins. So if you're going to make this a little bit easier for me, then I might give you a little bit of my coin. I won't have to do certain things or whatever. And we can still get the job done. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's
true. But no, that it's like not, that saying where they say you can get it, what is it? You can get it fast and cheap, but you won't get quality or something like that. And then they keep twisting that around.
Right.
Like it will never be that. Like I want excellence always. So that's why I said prioritizing excellence, meaning like, if I'm going to spend my coin, I'm gonna need you to make sure that it's worth my freaking coin.
Worthwhile.
Right? And all the things. But then just also sitting in the fact that we have a lot of things to be thankful for. Thanks. And I think we always are online and communicate with our families and friends about the big wins. Like I just graduated, or I just got this big promotion. But baby,
after accomplishment.
But we have all of these small wins that that we don't ever really talk about. Like, oh, I woke up this morning and I prayed for 12 minutes. Yesterday, I couldn't even get to minute 5.
Right.
In this minute, and today I'm on minute 12. Or I journaled today for 15 minutes, and it really helped me get, my emotions out, and all the things. Like celebrating the small things is very important too. So that's where I'm realizing my brand is kind of built around that, while encompassing just dope freaking experiences. And I think that in itself, those things, prioritizing all those things and including those, helps me to find these great experiences and then share them with other people. So,
and I think you're in a unique position because it's not many women that can say they've been in a male dominated field. From my lens, right, as a male, we don't come in contact with a lot of women that has that experience. You had to lead men. We don't come in contact we don't come in contact with a lot of women that have led men. You know what I'm saying? So you can view things from a different lens.
It was hard as.
Oh, I know.
It was hard.
I'm assuming. I'm just making an assumption here. You could probably understand certain male issues that might come, because I'm pretty sure they have to talk to you about things. So with that being said, I think you can view things in a different way than just the average woman. And I think you can use that to your benefit.
Oh, for sure.
And I think on your channel, like you said, you multi-layered. So I think like if I was a young woman, I would love to hear your perspective on leadership. You know, you makeup be on fleek. Like you got it going. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
I do think I need to talk more about, like, and that's what I was saying. I was like, I need to tap into this space, because I think a lot of people, and I can attest for myself, like I fall into the this like, what is everyone else doing? Like, you know,
gotcha. I mean, that's normal too.
Yeah, you know, so what is everybody else doing? Should I be doing the videos that are like, oh, best skincare from 2024, da da da, and then and that's still what I care about. But is there some communication that's more important, that I can still, you know, like talk about? So that's a good point, because I was really thinking about like starting now to create and schedule, record, film, blah blah blah, my content for the next year. And one of those was best skincare of 2024. And I was like, and then now that we're talking, I'm like, I think that I need to not, like, I think I do need to chat, like, and sit here and figure out what I want to say. Because
you got gems, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got gems that a lot of people aren't able to even come in contact with. I think that's what makes like content creation, YouTube, and things like that, like promising, because we're able to see what we haven't been able to get. Yeah. And you're like a true product of that. Like, I have a connection with you and a relationship with you because we're friends. But people online, they might be interested in the military. They might be interested in makeup. They might be interested in corporate world. They might be interested in entrepreneurship. They get all that with you. Every single
I'm a one-stop shop, baby.
Literally. But also, you got to talk about it.
I have to be able to market that, because that's not the case. I mean, it is because like my website definitely communicates those things, like the fact that I have all these different experiences. Right. But I don't necessarily feel like right now, holistically, my content is diverse. Right. And it definitely incorporates my military lifestyle, my transition. But I do think there's a lot to be said about like having this like talking head. Let me answer this question and how I would attack such and such, or how did I do da 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 da, and just talk about those things straight on, and not like trying to curate this whole thing about this whole thing.
Because you got a superpower, because some people that follow you might view you as a beauty, creator, But sometimes if you look at a beauty curator, maybe all they have is beauty. You know what I'm saying? Maybe all they have is...
Where's the depth?
Yeah, where's the depth? But if they like look under the layers and you're able to kind of peel back those layers and open up and introduce them into your life a little bit more, it's way more than a beauty creator. It's way more than, like it's a whole bunch of stuff you could be tapping
I'm sure. So I'm definitely going to I appreciate that. So I'm taking all of this in so I can figure out the best way to incorporate the things I like, but also still, drop gems. So
Facts. So now that we're on content creation, I want to circle back to Big Brother in the Circle. Because those are two of my, well, when I was little, I ain't had no cable. So I watched Big Brother faithfully because CBS was one of the only channels.
I did not know that.
I ain't had no cable growing
up.
So Big Brother, very near and dear to my heart.
Oh, that's what's up. I really don't have anyone, like, I put my boyfriend on to Big Brother, so we watched that. He didn't watch it with me this season, but we started watching it together. But I really don't know anybody who. That's why I said, do you know about Big Brother? Because
Yeah,
people really,
I know a lot.
people I talk to don't be knowing, and I'm like, ooh, did you watch the season?
I ain't watched Big Brother in about 2 years.
You need to get back on. Yeah. You need to get back on expeditiously because the last 2 seasons been real good.
But walk me through that. Like you said, you got casted. Like, what was that process like? What was the?
Yeah, well, I was in the process for being actually casted, but they reached somebody. I think a casting agent reached out to me on Instagram and asked me like, would I be interested? And I was like, I'm definitely not going to pass up. Even if I wasn't, because I honestly never really thought about that I'd ever go on the show. Like I was just like, I'm a fan. Yeah, like so when she was like, the fans be winning. They be winning for sure. But yeah, so she put me in contact with another lady who then scheduled me for like an interview, and it was more of you know, like this, where she was like on Skype and I was just sitting on my couch and she was asking me questions, and she was like, when I ask you a question, just repeat the question back and then answer it type thing. Right. And so I did, but like my training in the military teaches you to like put the bottom line up front. What you call that? We call that the bluff. Like just put the bottom line up front. So I don't need to know how you got there. I just need to know whether you got there or not. And if you haven't got there or I need to know what your plan is to get there. Like straight up, you know what I mean? Like,
let's get to the point.
I don't need to know that the tire fell off the Humvee. That's why I was 50 minutes late to the da-da-da-da-da. I need to know that we got a new tire. We about to put it on. We'll be there in an hour. You know, you get what I'm saying?
I got you.
So that was the
mentality you had coming into it.
When I'm doing the interview. So I'm not giving a lot of detail. I'm not being a storyteller.
Right.
And you know, in Big Brother, the people who are casted, they're the narrators. They're narrating the whole thing. They're talking about what they see, the details of the da-da-da, how they're feeling, all of the things. And
that's facts,
that is that. So when I did the casting, she contacted me back and she was just like, yeah, they definitely think you would have been a great asset on the show, but we needed you to be more of a storyteller. Like we needed to see more of the details. Yeah. Like I had a lot of good story, but I wasn't painting the picture for them. Right. And I was like, dang, like I can't believe, you know, and it makes sense. I mean, that training, you learn through training, like what you got to do to get up in the boardroom, get up in and out the boardroom, no problems. Yes. So it works for that, but it didn't work for the casting.
Gotcha.
And then I think, I don't really know what happened with the circle. I can't remember, but I did do an interview with them. What the freak happened? I don't know, but I didn't make it. But the circle was actually supposed to be filming in freaking London.
I remember that.
In it was 2020, about October-ish time frame. So we weren't even for military. We were not supposed to be with traveling out 50 miles outside of the base or our home.
Gotcha.
So you talking about going to London. But I don't think we got to that point. I just can't remember exactly what happened with I just know I didn't get it. But yeah, I just can't remember why.
I wish some of them would have reached out to me. The only people that ever reached out to me is dating stuff.
Tragic.
Like dating shows. You know what I'm saying? Like
can't do that.
They just reached out to me like, how would you feel being on this?
I feel like you would have been a good candidate for Love Is Blind.
You think so?
If you didn't already have somebody, that would have been cool. Or I was like, no, not that. And
I ain't know that.
Yeah, I feel like you just have too much depth for like those shows, like Love Island or like what's the other one, like
Too Hot to Handle.
Too Hot to Handle. Yeah. I'm just like, those wouldn't have been your shows.
Nah, they ain't
but
my type of
Love
show.
Is Blind, I feel like would have been a good one.
But see, I can't do that type of show either. I need to know the details.
You need to see somebody.
I need to see. Well, not necessarily.
Yeah, you do. You said it.
But I also need it's too fast.
It is a very fast process.
To say at the end, I'm gonna marry you and I don't know half the.
Yeah, no.
How I'm supposed to?
How I'm supposed to do that?
How I'm supposed to do that?
They say that like sometimes in that process, days feel like weeks. That's why people can do it.
But
I don't care about time like that.
You watched the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Old dude with the kids
Mm-hmm.
and the line, and he ain't told her until they already. See, I don't do well with like.
He definitely should talk about them kids. But I thought it was gonna be kids like that. He was like he had a relationship with the girl. That's what I thought, but it wasn't even like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, but still, he definitely should have said something in the pods. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, see, I don't do well with stuff like that. Like, you had the opportunity to tell me stuff over multiple conversations, and you didn't tell me, so now you omitting the truth.
But see,
and now that determines, when you omit the truth, that doesn't allow me to make a decision in the moment. You making me build up my feelings and build up all this.
There was definitely opportunity.
I'm going to be a little bit less likely to be like, nah, I need to know I'm an Aries.
But, okay.
I'm going to keep saying that. I'm an Aries. And we don't take no shit.
I agree with you 100%. But I think about like just their whole process too. Like being in, like if they were dating in the real world, then they may have not had all the, maybe his mindset is like, he doesn't like bring this up until a certain point in their dating life. But I do think that he should, if that was his process, that's one of the first things he needs to be like coming and communicating. Because that is sometimes for people, that's a major deal breaker. For Ashley.
This is the analogy that I gave to somebody else I was talking to about this. They had talked about kids
so many times.
Stuff so many times.
I've
seen it.
So many
opportunities to say, hey, matter of fact,
I got 3 kids.
Let's talk about it. He ain't said it. So
he's talking about having kids with her.
So now you omitting the truth. So that's just like, if you allergic to ice cream, and I'd be like, yo, we gonna get ice cream after this. And you gotta, nah, I don't want none. I got ice cream in there. I'm eating ice cream. You want some? Nah, I don't want none. Ice cream come up. We talk about ice cream, and you ain't never told me you allergic.
Yeah. Now I'm choked up.
You had multiple options to tell me, yo, nah, I'm just allergic to ice cream.
I agree. You don't get no argument from me.
Now you omitting the truth.
Nope. Yep. He did have ample opportunity.
That's the reason why you didn't want it. The fact of somebody didn't have the knowledge in order to make a decision based on the knowledge. Now they kind of built up their feelings. And that's a little tough.
She still ended up staying with him though.
Yeah. That's still tough.
Yeah. Ooh. We could dissect this all day because all that Love is Blind was just crazy.
You think if they would have cast you when you were single, you think you would go on there? You think you would be a good candidate of Love is Blind?
I never thought about that, honestly.
If you were single and they said, hey, we casting another episodes of Love is Blind in Charlotte, whatever, would you be like, something, I'll take the call?
I don't know.
And would you be able to take it serious? That's the thing.
That is a great question. Honestly, I have absolutely no idea. I personally don't think that, like Love is Blind is definitely probably not my thing. Yeah.
It definitely ain't mine.
Yeah. I think I'd be good on a different show. Like, I need to see you. Like, maybe Love Island.
No. I can't see you on no Love Island. I can't see you on no Love Island.
No, I would literally be like my girl, I forget her name. I think her name is Jen or something. She was a black girl on there. She ain't kiss nobody. She ain't do none of the things. That would probably been me. I would have been like,
hate me on Love Island. I can't be on.
I'd be like, oh no, if you want to be my man, you gotta show me you want to be my man. Yeah. But no, it would need to be a different show. Like it needs to have something else. But I feel like, I wouldn't say I need to, but I would like to actually date them and see them.
Right. That's true. Well, that segues way into my next conversation. Both of us share something in common. We've both been divorced at some points in our lives.
Just dub me. Like I said, the YouTube ex-wife.
Yeah.
That is so funny.
Thought she was my ex-wife.
Yes, and y'all really ate me up. Well, some of y'all who probably been here for a minute, because he's now at 100K. Pew, 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 pew. Bop, 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 bop.
both of us have been married at some point, not together.
Not together.
Primarily, that's why I couldn't do Love is Blind. Just having that experience before.
Already, yeah. I
I know what I need up front before I even could. It's too short a time frame for me to make a decision to be
married again. Yeah, no.
100% on it.
For sure.
But yeah, so as we know, like, y'all seen my video. I talked about it. Things like that. But I do want to kind of touch on it with you a little bit as far as like going through it as a woman and how you feel or how you felt. During that time, did you feel like you had to kind of prove to yourself like you that?
Oh yeah, I was choosing heavy. I was choosing heavy. When I got out of my marriage, I was like, I'm outside. And I almost missed my current man choosing.
Oh dang.
But and it wasn't even really choosing. It was more of like I had this ideal image of like
what that would look like.
Yes, because I didn't have that when I went to my first marriage. Like and I thought that was what prevented me from that marriage flourishing because we didn't have established kind of expectations. High school sweetheart, like da-da-da. So I thought making this like list or having this...
Rip up your list.
Yeah. But they need to have everything on the list. Right. But it actually turned into an idealization, I think, or just like this ideal person. Right. So if that person even had like, if wasn't within these ideal like list of things, then I was choosing, right? Like I was like, no, or whatever. Right. And I think that, if anything, as a result of the divorce, was what was holding me back moving into the relationship that I'm in now. I don't want to say holding me back, but it played a role, which is why when we first actually encountered each other, I didn't really I wouldn't say I didn't notice him, but
you just wasn't in that mind.
I wasn't there. Yeah, I was doing something completely different. Yeah, I was like, duh. Yeah. And but we just kept communicating and we started to actually build a friendship. And then I was like, I actually like it like that, yeah. So
that's good.
Yeah. So I think it had a negative kind of result, but it was an experience I definitely needed to go through. No regrets on that. Right. But once I got rid of that, I was really able to see the promise of my current relationship, and I feel like that's my man.
Because I think for me, when everything was said and done, I was in the mind frame was like, I'm not trying to be in a relationship no time soon. I'm just like, what the streets got to offer me, I'm just. I was
very much on that time.
Yeah. I'm just like, I ain't focusing on I'm focusing 100% on myself.
I did everything I wanted to do.
I was doing everything I wanted to do. I was very selfish. I didn't. It wasn't until probably like 3 years afterwards where I was like, something. Now I can kind of be in a mind frame where I'm willing to be open to. Yep. Let's converse a little bit. See what is out there. That's how I end up talking to your old friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, So it's just like I had to kind of go through that phase to get to the phase I need to be in, and now to get into the phase that I'm in now.
Yes.
So it's a work in progress.
It is. And it's we needed like a community group for divorcees. So much things we just learned, and then and then also I think even you learn from the marriage, but also learn as a result of the divorce. Like that's the part too. It's like you likely wouldn't have went through that part if you were still married, or if you know what I'm saying, or if you were just in a relationship and y'all broke up. Like being married and being divorced, like that's different than having a girlfriend and a boyfriend and breaking up. I don't care what nobody say. It's a whole different severance.
It's a whole different cutting of the tie. You know what I'm saying? But I do feel like since you went through it too, you know, like how you kind of have to pick yourself up from it. You know what I'm saying? Like you went through the experience of like feeling like you're not enough. You can go through the experience of feeling like, dang, I need to prove to myself that I need to be doing what I need to be doing.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that we can kind of connect on that level because I don't really know nobody else.
Yeah. No, honestly, me and you talk about this more than I talk about this with anybody else. Because like I don't think there's anybody in my friend group, my best friend, but that was recent, you know, like, but when we were going through it, we almost kind of was going through it about the same time, you know, or shortly, I think you were shortly after me, but like,
fairly recent time.
Yeah, timing was definitely on par. And but yeah, it's a experience that obviously I would wish on no one, but it is a learning experience through and through. Like I learned so much about myself and what I want and you know, all of the things.
What you need.
Yeah, for sure.
What you need.
And what you don't need.
And what you don't need. Because I'm pretty sure you done ran across some guys, you're like, what in the world?
Listen, I had to, like, I was that, like, what I was saying, like, that ideal thing, like, I let some men, like, mistreat me. Not necessarily, in some cases disrespect me, but it wasn't until I looked out, like, hindsight, I was like, at the time, didn't necessarily see it as like disrespect. And that was because I didn't like have I wouldn't say a large sense of respect for myself, but in that area, I was still willing to, and I didn't have those boundaries set, or, you know, I had wanted this, whatever this was, so I let this slide, like type thing. And I look back on that now and I'm just like, I can't believe you. Like, I be looking at myself. Why would you do that?
But that's the thing though. When we do that, it's like, even if there's some disrespect, we see so much potential in it,
that
we're willing to be like, all right, I see this as this, and it can get there.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to slide that to the side.
That's exactly what we was doing.
Yeah,
that's exactly what we was doing. So don't do that. For those of us, for those of y'all out there who might be doing this, might be going through the same thing, don't do that. Literally, I don't know what you should be doing, but creating this like fantasy image of what you believe your next relationship is going to look like, don't do that. All I think you really need to do is figure out what your deal breakers are. Yeah. I think that's the main thing that I should have done earlier, maybe, and should have focused on more. What are my deal breakers? Does he want to have kids? If he doesn't, deal breaker, because I want to be a mom. Like the little, not even little things, but those things I think are one of the major focuses. Yeah, because I could have idealized about that relationship and that perfect guy, but that perfect guy that's been disrespecting me and not honoring my boundaries and doesn't want to have kids or doesn't want to move or out of sight, out of mind. So if I deploy, then he gonna do what he want to do. Like all the little small things that you don't really think about, where you should, because that's what's really going to build the foundation of your relationship. So I think that, if that's what you're doing, even if you're not going through a divorce, like you automatically, but you trying to get a relationship, you definitely need to think about your deal breakers.
And I also feel like in the dating phase, I have this mentality now to where if like boundaries, deal breakers, I'm not in the zone to where I got to make it work. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm only in that phase where we've went through things together. We've been in a relationship for, a certain time period. And now I see this as a potential marriage. Okay, I can try to make this work. But just like talking phases, if you showing me red flags up front, I don't got to make that work. I'm out.
No, for real.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to make that work because now you cross into a line of like you said, deal breakers. And I'm trying to force something when at the pit of my stomach, I already know.
Right, right.
So
especially, I understand that point of view if that's been communicated. Yes. Like if you just like, okay, I'm out because she crossed the boundary that she didn't. Well, what I'm saying is, if you communicated your boundaries and all the things, and then she still, then I get it. But like, what we got to be better at is communicating our expectations and communicating our boundaries. And I think that's where we be slacking. And that's why we be like, oh, this person did this, ain't text me back. That's why I ain't gonna, but nobody knew. Nobody knew that's how you communicated all the time. Right. And you don't know what I got going on. And maybe text ain't my, first and best point of contact or, form of communication. So like the communication, people always say that communication key. But it's not just that. It's how you guys plan to communicate effectively with each other. Yes. Because everybody has a different forms of communication. Like the way you communicate with your best friend may not be the same way you communicate with your man. And that's just like, y'all got to figure out what that looks like for y'all and what's best for y'all. But I think definitely talking about it, is the way to figure that out. Exactly. Hello.
And I feel like that's a lot of things that people don't do these days. Communication, talking, and really being inquisitive. Like of your partner, you gotta ask questions. You gotta ask questions, whether your partner dating, and try to figure out, how do I be a better person for this person to show up? Because we all can make assumptions.
Gosh. Yeah, no, for sure. The questions part that's number one. But what I think I saw this online, and when I say ate me up and spit me out, but not me, but like what I would desire for real, is like they were saying like you can be honest, but I want you to be transparent. And that's the part. Let me get on out of here. Step on out. That, because you can answer the question. That's just like me saying like, hey, if I'm asking you like, what you got going on today? And you like, nothing, just chilling. That's being honest. But like being transparent would be like, well, I do plan to like hang out at the house and do on my computer and probably watch the game at 6 and it's a little bit more detail, but it also communicates your intention. It lets that person know like I'm not just stopping at honesty. Like I want to get deep and I want to have a very vulnerable kind of open relationship with you. And that's what you would desire from a partner, potentially, if that's the type of, relationship you want. I know I want one, like that. That's very open. And where we have that level of transparency. And it's not to say that even if it don't start out that way, that it can't get that way. Cause like everybody ain't gonna just open up their whole door to you when they only known you for such a certain amount of time.
And the atmosphere got to be set.
Yeah, you have to feel like you're in a safe space for sure. Like I'm not just gonna just drop all my gems on, drop all my life story on your lap.
That space.
Yeah, for sure.
Once that space is created, you give time for that to kind of.
Yeah, you learn. You still learn. I still learn. Like me and my man is still learning things about each other to this day, like all the time.
It's a constant learning.
You just never know. Like some things you don't know to bring up. Right. And maybe y'all watching this show and be like, oh, that happened to me before. Oh, did it? And then now we can get into it. Like
for real.
Yeah. Oh. Let's talk about it.
For real.
Be like that, but
But I do think that like relationships really thrive when there's a level of vulnerability and transparency there. Like you said, if you're watching the show and something happened, I'm like, dang, I went through that and they didn't know. That's a level of like transparency and vulnerability where you can talk about it.
It also helps you to navigate that space with them moving forward, right? So like, oh, I know the situation happened to you, so maybe that's why you do this and this when this happens, and you be like, maybe that is why. Sometimes you don't even know your own triggers or the things that make you react the way you did. So yeah, and I think, having that partner and somebody that you can talk to and be vulnerable with, they can be like, that might have been the thing that triggered this and da-da-da. So yeah.
That's facts. And since we're on relationships, how do you feel like social media has a maybe more positive or negative impact on like relationships these days? Because I feel like...
How you feel about it?
I feel like social media, I think it is positives and negatives. I will say that. But I do feel like more so negative nowadays.
Wow, you feel like that?
Impact on relationships, yes.
Do you want to tell us why?
Okay, so I feel like social media is organized to show you the best. So sometimes you can
We made it that way. Let's be clear.
idolize other relationships, and it's not looking like how your relationship look because you're seeing the best
Been
of
there.
what somebody else's relationship
Been there.
is looking like. So then you think like, dang.
Why didn't I get that girlfriend proposal?
See, exactly. Oh, dang, it's been 5 years. Like,
Well, yeah.
you know, so I feel like sometimes that causes a negative effect because it causes people to look inside instead of just looking at what they currently have and appreciating it. That's the only thing I would say is negative. But I do feel like the positives is seeing like other couples thriving, traveling, doing fun things, videos, pranks, stuff like that. Like it's good to see. But also the negatives is all you see is the good stuff. You don't see like the underlaying.
Yeah, what I had to do to get you to do that girlfriend proposal, like
you-
cuss you out, and, but I showed you all the look at what my man did. But me and you had like a 50-minute, 50,000 conversation about why you ain't did it yet. Yeah, like those are things that
That's
y'all
what I'm
don't.
saying. Yeah.
No, I think I was at a place when I was going through that. Oh, did it? And then now we can get into it. Like
Oh, for real.
yeah.
Oh.
Let's talk about it. When I was going through that phase, child, where that was a thing for me too. Like I was like, I want the girlfriend proposal and da 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 da. But I also realized, like you said, the behind the scenes stuff is the stuff we don't see. And I know there are things that my man is doing right behind the scenes that I don't show y'all.
Yeah, exactly.
Just because y'all don't see it doesn't mean things aren't happening, right?
Same.
So I think you can flip that on his head and say, okay, if if they do get this girlfriend proposal, I hope it's intentional and I hope it was great and I hope girlfriend and boyfriend didn't have to like go through hell and high water to make it happen. But so I just envision, not to say that everybody's back end is like negative. I'm not thinking that, but I also, how I think about it is, I hate to say it, but I'd be like, all this shit fake. Like I'd be like, all of it is fake, and not the stuff that I think is genuine, but like the extra stuff. The extra stuff. I don't want to call it extra, but like
the cherry on top.
Yeah, the extravagant da 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 da, the romance and all that, and I'm like, that's great. I'm glad that happened to that person, but I appreciate the small intimate moments too, like the ones where me and my man is watching a show together, where we got the popcorn and the wine
Quality
and stuff.
time.
Yeah, like we don't have to have note cards and flowers and da da da, but that time is intimate to me and intentional, and sometimes doesn't need to be shared with everybody, and that's okay. But that doesn't mean because I'm not showing you what is going on in my personal life that these things aren't happening, or it doesn't mean that because I don't have these rose petals and these cards that same level of romance or intimacy is not occurring. It just ain't happening the same way as you seeing it online. It's happening in a different form. And that's what I had to learn. Don't get me wrong, because I wasn't there. I was not there. I learned it. And I'm like, I can appreciate the things that social media doesn't show.
Right.
And that I don't show social media. And so when I see those things, good for you, and I try not to like latch on to that particular thing occurring or not occurring from my relationship.
That's true.
So yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that too, because I also feel like nowadays, I feel for the younger generation. Now that I'm in my 30s, I can say that. But they so like they want every single thing they see on social media. Man,
I'm like, ooh, instant gratification is crazy.
Yeah, instant gratification. So I feel like, especially for the younger generation, if it ain't on social media, it ain't real. If they don't see,
and that's crazy, right?
If they don't see it, like if they in a relationship and they don't post everything that's going on, things like that, it ain't nothing.
If they deleted the pictures,
it's a problem.
Then they broke up. They may not just like the picture. Like the picture. I think my take on social media relationship or social media with relationships, I believe it's related more to the people that I'm close to. Actually, like I don't.
Their circle, like.
So I don't. when I'm on social, other people's lives is cool, but it'd be the people that I know. Like, for example, if like me and my best friend, I had to have many conversations with him about when he announces large news on Instagram or social media and that has not communicated that with me. Like, for example,
haven't told you first?
Yes. And we talk, like we talk, you my best friend, but you letting everybody and their mama know, that you got, not, I don't know, like maybe it's, oh, I'm graduating, or I got an interview with such and such. So like those things that, as somebody who would know me would know that I would want to celebrate you in that, right? So like, it's like, and that could be like, I don't know if that's selfish on my part or not, but I just feel like I don't want to be everybody else on social media. If I have a relationship with you. Yeah. So like there has to be some sort of, what's the word? Like we have to have some sort of rapport that is unique to us in our relationship. Too. Yeah. And versus like, oh yeah, I get and have to find out about certain things. Like let's say you and your man broke up and I go on your story and I see that y'all broke up, but I'm your best friend. Like, why didn't I know y'all broke up? So it's like, that's the part that I think is where I have the most, or I have negative thoughts about social. Is because of those things. Like, I think that we rely on social media a lot to communicate and connect with everyone. That's facts. And that's like, or everyone, and also the people that, know us, our inner circle. Mm-hmm. But I value intimacy and I value a personal connection with, especially with those who are close to me. So those types of things are things that I don't necessarily appreciate. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that that's definitely.
Yeah. Like, I got to do a better job of that too. Cause I feel like I fall in that category where I post something. I'm like, dang, I ain't even told nobody this.
I ain't told my mama, my man,
nobody this. My sister be like, dang, I ain't know you was doing that. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah. I forgot to tell you. Yeah. But yeah, I agree though. I agree. I do think that's.
But everybody might, everybody might not feel that way. But it's just,
but
I think that's
feel
just
like if they have a relationship though.
Yeah, like if y'all are connected,
communicate on a day-to-day basis.
I'm just like, I'm not everybody else, because that's kind of how it feels sometimes. And it took she was a creative friend of mine, who I posted something and she asked me like, she asked me about the details on it. And I was like, oh, girl, I'm going to announce it. She was like, oh, I thought we was friends. I didn't think like, I would have to find out with everybody else. And I was like, see. I was like, okay. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what, you are absolutely right. And that made me really like hone in on making sure that the friends that I do have aren't treated like the rest of them. Not that they're different, but like obviously you have a different level
of a connection.
Connection with people who actually have your phone number, who you FaceTime, who you talk to, you hang out with, versus who just likes a post and who sees your life on social media.
That's facts.
So yeah.
Yeah, I gotta do a better job about that too.
Self-care.
I agree though. I agree. Yeah, I feel like we've been talking about a good bit of stuff today, man. I think I hit on all the points I wanted to hit on without looking at my notes. I ain't even look at my notes in that order.
You didn't. You went good. Said segue. I said, okay.
Your next host.
Fire. Yeah. No, you did real good.
But as we wrap this up, anything you want to tell the folks, anything you have coming up, or if you want people to support you, please feel free to let us know what's up, what's going on.
All right. So look, y'all. So I have a self-diagnosed mission.
Okay. All right.
And through my experience in being in the military, I have, been in positions of authority, but sometimes I have been silenced, and not necessarily forcefully, but like as a service member, there are certain things you can't necessarily talk about, or maybe it's like frowned upon to communicate about, etc. So in a way, I've trained myself to not talk about certain things or even voice my opinions as it relates to exactly what I think. So as I got out the Army, my focus has been finding my voice and really gaining knowledge, speaking with people about my experiences, talking about my opinions and all of those things. But it's really just been a challenge for me to grow outside of intimate spaces like this.
Right.
So,
like on your own in that.
So I want to be able to communicate be confident and comfortable in larger groups, talking about what I've been through and also speaking about my opinions and not caring what the freak anybody has to say about it. So if you guys, have have like panels, conferences, things like that, especially as it relates to like Black women, the veteran community, anything that my brand stands for that you think I would be a great asset or valuable to in that space, please hit me up. Please. info@leslielatrice.com is my email, and @LeslieLatrice on all social media platforms. I would love to talk about my experiences, get on a podcast episode, do whatever, because it is a personal goal of mine to just build my confidence in like public speaking, explaining and expressing my story, being vulnerable and transparent like we just talked about. So yeah, I think, if we can do that, I'd be great. 2025 looking good, baby.
Hey, turn up. And I'm also leave all of her information in the description below. So if you don't follow her already, please feel free to do so. And like she said, if y'all got some opportunities, we talked about the 3 pillars that she be hitting on. One-stop shop.
Period. You already know. Thank you for having me too. You always bring me in at the perfect time. I don't know what it is. Time be crazy. But I appreciate you, man, for real.
Always. I appreciate you for coming on, my dog. But yeah, thank y'all for watching this episode. As y'all know, I have some more guests coming soon for the rest of the year. I will make sure to update you all on that. But thank you for watching. I'll catch y'all next video. Peace.